What is good? Osiris here, stuck in the middle. When I said that Ron DeSantis was an authoritarian libertarian, I wasn't joking. I'm serious. This bro is going to legislate liberty. He's going to make your liberty a requirement. This is my dude right here. Now, I am uncomfortable with this one. I am ignorant as well. So if I'm going to say I'm ignorant, I'm not going to have a strong take on this one here. I'm still absorbing the information. There's some things that are easily verifiably false, but there are concerns that I have. Headline: DeSantis signs bill requiring Florida students, professors to register political views with state. That is a misnomer, purposely misworded. These are the times we're in. So that's not, it's purposely misleading. What does register political views mean? Let's look deeper into that. Maybe you could say that, you could argue that's what it is. That's not what the bill does, though. But it is going to tie in university funding with the results of this survey. What's happening here? Public universities in Florida will be required to survey both faculty and students on their political beliefs and viewpoints, with the institutions at risk of losing their funding if the responses are not satisfactory to the state's Republican-led legislator. Let's stop right there. I like his intent. The intent, you can see what the intent is. The intent with this bill is to say, you all in the university system are cultivating students and indoctrinating them, requiring them to be my enemy. That's what's happening in the universities. I'm not saying the universities don't do good work. I'm not saying that everybody's like that. But in a large part, that's what these universities are. I forgot what university it was. I was on Twitter the other day, saw they were all muzzled up at their graduation, all V'd up, and then yet still muzzled up and outside in their graduation ceremony. And it's like, if that was organic, you would see at least a couple people say, "Nah, I don't need this muzzle. I'm good. We're outside. I got the V, or even if I didn't get the V, I'm going to take that risk. I'm good." No, you must all conform to what we need, because you are the future experts. And we all know if you don't go with the narrative, you're no longer the expert. We saw what happened with Lieutenant Colonel Allen West, went to that school, I believe it was in Buffalo. He had black students. He went to the school to talk about the importance of a two-parent household. And we just have this shooting in Akron, and the kid doesn't really have a father involved after he's passed away tragically. And they yell at Lieutenant Colonel Allen West, "Black Lives Matter." That's the kind of stuff that DeSantis is trying to fight against, to say, hey, you've got to have differing political views. But can you really legislate that? What's the precedence here? I want to know what the precedent is. Has any other state done anything like this? I don't know. I'll go on reading the article here. It's funny, you read these articles, at least me, I read these articles, I find myself having to do more work than they did to put the article together. Because the article is just some BS propaganda. This article here that they wrote, it probably literally took 5 to 15 minutes to write this article. What they're doing is looking at how much time would I spend on this article, how many clicks and views will it get. It's not worth doing real journalism if you're going to get the same clicks or less with a more balanced and accurate story. So why not do a salacious story, 5, 10, 15 minutes, get it up there, and then move on to the next one and keep pumping them out. More details on this. And then the unprecedented project, well, what does that mean? Has it never ever happened before in the U.S.? I don't know. The unprecedented project, which was tucked into a law signed Tuesday by Republican Governor Ron DeSantis is a part of a long-running nationwide right-wing push to promote. This is Salon, so this is what you're going to get. To promote intellectual diversity on campuses. Through worries over a lack of details on the survey's privacy protections, I absolutely agree with that. I'm going to get back to that. And questions over what the results may ultimately be used for hover over the venture. Now, I do agree with that. Somebody let me know if you know something. Anytime you're taking a survey, and this is a government-controlled survey, so they're going to be doing this survey, where does the data go? They're not doing surveys on paper or anything anymore. How do I know it's anonymous? Who's getting the data? Who's keeping the data? Are you using a third party for the data? How do I know that data is secure? Now, you might think, well, this is data that's not that big of a deal. If I say, do I feel like the university has viewpoints contrary to my own, or general questions like that? But it just sets a precedent for the government to ask me for data, and then you own the data. No, I need to own the data. That's why I said the number one concern right now is digital rights, free speech. Who owns the data? Nothing's more important than that right now in our country. We need to lay that law down. So DeSantis, I'm not against DeSantis on this. I have questions. It makes me uncomfortable. Is there another way that this could have been done? I'm going to end with that. My suggestion. Based on the bill's language, survey responses will not necessarily be anonymous. How do we know? How do we not? Sparking worries among many professors and other university staff that they may be targeted, held back in their careers, or even fired for their beliefs. This is, you push back in one way, you're going to see people push back the other way. I said on Twitter the other day, I've got authoritarians to my left and authoritarians to my right. Somebody's got to stop that cycle. According to the bill's sponsor, State Senator Ray Rodriguez, faculty will not be promoted or fired based on the responses. But as the Tampa Bay Times reported Tuesday, the bill itself does not back up those claims. The only details on the survey come via a passage over its purpose to discover the extent to which competing ideas and perspectives are presented at public universities, and whether students feel free to express beliefs and viewpoints on campus and in the classroom. It used to be thought that a university campus was a place where you'd be exposed to a lot of different ideas. I do agree with that, DeSantis said at a press conference. Even when I went to school, University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, circa 96. That's what it was. I mean, it was liberal, but there was no, I never saw anybody ostracized because they were a Republican. I never once even saw that or had conservative views. Not once in my whole time in school. And now it's like, it's at another level. Unfortunately now, the norm is these are more intellectually repressive environments. You have orthodoxies that are promoted and other viewpoints are shunned or even suppressed. So what's the answer to this? I'm going to stop this article here and just, to me, I've been going that more libertarian route. And I agree. I think competition is the answer. I'm not smart enough. How you do that, I don't know. It's not easy to start a university. But I think more creating an environment where competition is embraced. That's what the answer to this is. To me, it's not DeSantis saying, hey, take a survey. And so what is that? Is it all based on the survey? I read this. It's a long bill. The part of the bill that just talks about, I didn't even finish the bill. I got halfway through and I'm like, I can't do this. It's like some of these bills are tough to get through. This was not an easy one, at least for me. But the part about the survey is at the beginning. It's real short. And then the rest of it is all about funding and legal stuff. But maybe there's more that I missed. So I'm not I'm saying I'm ignorant on this bill. I'm not as masterful or read through it like other ones. But the part that I understood was the survey, and it was very vague. So you're going to take a survey of the students and faculty about how they feel about different viewpoints and then base funding on that? Well, I think these are not stupid people. They'll just lie and say, yeah. I believe that the far left and then the corporate left viewpoints that we have at our university are a diverse viewpoint. Like, you don't even have many conservatives at universities. So how many of them, like, what's the threshold that you're even looking at for the survey? I didn't see that either. So I don't know what you're going to gather from just some lame survey to do the funding for universities. If you don't want to fund the universities, because do you need to even have a reason for that? Just don't fund them. Because we don't see you embrace speakers of different ideas. I don't know. Even that's uncomfortable. I think it's more about creating a climate where someone could start a new university or convert their current university into something that is more diverse. I don't know how that is, but just creating more competition will allow people, and the marketplace will decide. I am uncomfortable with this, what DeSantis is doing here with this survey. So you're just going to do a survey and you're going to just base it all on a survey? When pressed by reporters, the governor did not offer any specific examples of repression and discrimination faced. Well, that's the easy part. That's not the problem here. The examples of repression and discrimination based by conservative students, and not just that. I mean, we saw what they did with the V's. They made them mandatory. In that in and of itself, it begs for compliance, because these drugs that we have now don't fit the definition for what a V was just a couple years ago. So you're basically saying you take this drug or you don't go to the campus. It's not really a V. So I'm not telling anybody what to do medically or anything like that. From the standpoint of obedience, though, that's clear. So these examples are easy to find. The question is, how do you solve this? What's the right way to solve these universities that have become dangerous to our country? That's where critical race theory and praxis started from. That's where the teachers are learning it from. That's where everyone's learning that words are violence. They're all learning it from these universities. So I don't know. You can't legislate that, in my opinion. You just need to create competition. Let me know what you think. If you know anything more about the bill, I got about halfway through and I was like, I'm done. I'm out of this. I can't do this anymore. It's brutal, boring, and tough to understand. But the first part of it about the survey was pretty vague. So let me know if you have any thoughts, questions, concerns on it in the comments. Take care.